Hello. Hi, hi. I'm gonna try and get my dog. He's hiding from me. Hello. Hi, everybody. Okay, let me say hi to some of you. Ah, okay, he's here. I know, I saw him. I mean, I saw the pictures of him driving. Does he not look so amused? I thought he was so amused with what he was doing. I think he was so amused of himself. He was like, "Can you believe I'm doing this?" They're saying hi to you, Deba. Okay, let me say hi to everybody. Um, Carla Girl, Andy Big Night Sky, Nadira, Fire Butterfly, Emily, Robin Bryce, Carol Faye, Jolie, Simply JJ, Seda, Fire Butterfly, Cindy, Hanako Grace, A. Brown, Kay Inoka, BTS Army Mom, Young Forever, Julie McT94, Leah Warburton, Nadira Hanif, Orchid MSC, PZ48128, Fire Butterfly BTS, um, Wonder Human Warren R. Donna, Sylvia, Elaine, Consuelo Gonzalez, Sylvia Bustos, Norwegian Wood, Jordan, Brissa, Nigma Price, A. Brown Letitia, Tickle, Tickled Tea Lady, Cindy, Jax, Seuss, Dodger Girl is on Twitch, Nadira Schelling, Christy, Denil, Curie, Jose, Lindsay, Fire Butterfly is also on Twitch, BTS Eden, A. Brown, Arlene, Norwegian Wood, Jax, Too Called, Too Called to Too cold to bother. It is cold. I like it though. Nigma Price, Kathleen, Just Me CDV, Warren, Michelle Santiago, Donna, Nunez, Leah Warburton, Drummer, Christy, Crystal, Kemuning, Gemini, Brelin, 1236, Purple Owl, Hanako Grace, Robin Bryce, Curie, Leah Salonga posted it on her story. Namjoon driving. Drummer, Squirrel, Daphne, Brissa, Jasmine Borahe, Star Blue, Victress Maria, Jasmine Rose Maria, Marian Esperes. O- And one fine day, Leah is also on Twitch. Seven Purple Pearls, Nadira Hanako Enigma, Victress, Star Blue Lori. I want to make sure that okay. I wanted to make sure that my audio is good. Just the tea, please. Robin Carr. You're not late, Robin. OT71, Dodger Girl, Norwegian Wood, Danny Ban, Borahe, Shelling, just the tea, please. Claire, Cindy, the key, Lara, Lady, Spinster, Michelle, Icebox, Nate Jones, Azurella, Carla Girl, Cindy, Edward, Hanako Grace, Lotus. Okay, I think I've said hi to everybody. Futures, Rani, Seven Purple Pearls, Moonchild, Halinaw, I Love Jesus, OSP, Sylvia Nadira. Okay, hi everybody. Yes, I saw RM driving. I thought he was so amused with what he was doing. I think he was so amused with himself. Oraya, hello, Senri. I think like the way that he was smiling, he was like, "Can you believe I'm doing this? Who allowed me to do this? Who gave me a license?" But I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for him. So I don't know who was actually filming him while he was driving, but I also don't know what kind of car it is. It looks like a BM. It looks like a BM. I could be wrong. Hobie said he won't be riding with our I also, if there's one thing I would be careful of, it would be it would be RM driving. But I also know that he's a very responsible person, meaning he knows his limits. Like if he knows that it's a yunde, okay. Jasmine said it's a yunde. Um Yonde. Yonde. So I also know that he wouldn't do it unless he is sure he can be safe. So okay. But I was so entertained that he was actually driving. I'd be afraid to distract him. Yeah. Yeah. But he looks so happy. I actually have a picture of him. This one is it's actually Jacob's birthday, as you know, it passed, but there you go. I just like he was so he was so entertained. Also, he's so tall. I bet that the car seat was actually on the all the way back. Just because he's so tall. Good evening, Sinri, Neda. Are you on Discord too, Nadira? Okay. So we have some stuff to talk about. We'll talk about some of the industry developments that I think eventually will affect BTS and of course Hybe. These are more like not just Korea, but moves that Hybes are making and Universal Music is making um, in the global music industry. It's pretty interesting how they're playing the game. And then we'll talk about BTS. Talk about some of the problems and possible things that may come up in the next I don't know, like how many days are we from the actual comeback? Why does Fairlane video now say live in 25 minutes? Any idea? Huh? Live in 25 minutes? It says live. Where did you see live in 25 minutes? 29 days for 29 days. Yeah. So I think there is going to be some PR play and it's starting to play out. So just a warning on how things are going to go about the next 29 days. And then I do think that okay, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that in a bit, and also we're going to be discussing some stuff about the streaming because there are some stuff that have been going around on how to properly stream. So let's just set the record straight. But the easiest way to go about it is to say stream the way that would make you enjoy the music. I think when you can't go wrong that way. If you stream in a way that is actually natural to you, I don't think you'll ever go wrong that way. But let's talk about what do we talk about first, and then I'll end with the 2013 Guangguamon. I'll share some things with you, some progress that I've been making, and also the things that maybe you guys can collaborate with me on. Okay, let's talk about is there anything that you 29 days until history will be made correct? Correct. Okay, let's do the industry updates first because this one's LESSERAFIM, yes. So we'll talk about that. Misosu, do you like LESSERAFIM? Okay. I have some info on LESSERAFIM. I just okay, I'll get there and then I'll decide. Stream Hegum to 1 billion. Okay, so let's talk about some industry developments first, and then we'll talk about other things. So, Universal Music Group has been, it is the biggest music label in the world right now, UMG, and it owns several other sub labels. I think I've mentioned to you before that the labels in the US, when you are a major label, meaning one of the biggest ones or owned by one of the biggest ones, we usually call them the majors. Okay, so when I say the majors, that's what I'm referring to. I might slip into it. I will always try to say music labels, but if I mean the majors, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so UMG is actually practically the biggest label in the world, and I guess the biggest of the majors here in the US. And they've been very instrumental in setting up um like h- the system in how things are done here in the US. They have the biggest network when it comes to media influence, when it comes to radio influence. So it sets the tone. It implements a lot of things that eventually become industry standards, including playlisting, paid playlisting, and it's setting new precedents in the last several months, in the last 12 months actually, that I think other majors will eventually follow. Okay. And that will again affect other artists that are trying to get into the Western market. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm concerned that we will not get 6 million pre-saves on Spotify. That is what we need to take the record from T Swift. We are at 3.49 million. Okay, so it acquired several companies now, UMG, and some of it are some for on some platforms they bought a stake, like a small stake in the company. In some companies, they actually acquired majority stake of that company. So one of the platforms that it actually acquired is Even. It's a super fan platform. I think one of the things that we need to get used to is that a lot of the music related technologies that are being designed nowadays are geared for super fans, and how they can bridge the artist to the fans or the spending to the fans, how to make it easier for fans to spend on their favorite artist or favorite act. Okay, so one of that is Even. So Universal Music Group bought a majority stake on this platform. Okay, so that's one. And this is actually the latest that they have. Okay. Are you still breathing, baby? He's like he's on my arm. He's not on, but under my armpit. And he was just like there. Okay. Um so they also before they purchased Even, I'll discuss what Even actually does. Before that, as you know, when Hybe signed a distribution deal with Universal, they also bought a stake in Universal. Sorry, Universal also bought a stake in Weverse. Um, so sorry. Okay. So they have a stake now on two superfan platforms, Even and Weverse. And then the other one is Station Head. So they bought a minority stake in Station Head as well. The thing about that is that Station Head actually merged with Melomanic, which is also a superfan platform. So they now have a stake in four of the most important superfan platforms in the world. Okay. All right. So let's go through what these superfan platforms, one of them at least, Melomanic. Let's go to Melomanic first. So Melomanic is more if Weverse was actually designed for specifically mainstream artists, Melomanic is actually designed for independent artists and also even like freelance content creators. So what it actually allows the artist to do is to sell digital access directly, monetize fans interaction and create gated premium moments. So for example, if I don't know, like Selena Gomez or Taylor Swift decides, okay, I'm going to do a live stream, and those that are willing to pay, and if people want to participate, they're going to have to pay like $1,000, and it's going to be like a digital dinner with me so people can participate and stuff like that. So those types of activities artists will be able to do in Melomanic. And then they can also sell digital access directly. So if they have, for example, if they do a remix, right? They can actually charge people for listening to it first or just having a copy of that. So that's one that's probably the biggest. I'd say the selling point of the platform is that it's designed for. Do you want to go down? It's designed for not just for mainstream artists, but for any artist, and then also direct monetization. Okay, next is that it allows artists to get or capture data of their fans. So you have first party fan data, purchase behavior, and engagement metrics. So as an artist, I will see directly. It's not going to be your label, but me directly. For example, if I'm signed to a label, it won't be the label, but me directly that will have access to the data of my fans. So I would know which of my content you're interacting with, what are you purchasing more, what are you saying, and AI is there to summarize your chat, all of those stuff. So and for example, for Weavers, the one that has access to those back end information would be the label. But for Melomanic, it is actually the artist that has access. Okay. So really designed for independent artists. Next. So if you compare Weavers and Melomanic, Weavers is really built around artist-owned community, while Melomanic is more modular in tool as a tool is more modular. So it allows you to continue building on what you already have. Another is that Weavers is really for mainstream artists, while Melomanic is also designed for independent artists and even small creators. Okay. Now, it's you want to go down? Okay. You say bye bye. You say bye bye first. Say bye bye. Bye bye. Want to say bye bye? Come on. He's very dramatic. Okay. Come on. Oh, you don't want to go down? Why did you? What is it that you want? He doesn't want to go down. What is it that you want? Okay, go. They're just watching you. Okay. He does like snuggling. He likes my neck, I guess. So, have you heard of this monkey Panchico in this zoo? So, allegedly, this monkey, a baby monkey, he was rejected by his mother at birth, and so I guess the zookeepers or the animal keepers had to raise him directly. So it was actually the humans that were feeding him because he wouldn't survive. He was a baby. And then eventually, when he was, I guess, strong enough, they put him in with the other, what do you call is it platoon? like the group of monkeys, or it's platoon, right? So they put him there with other monkeys, and someone made a video because he was getting rejected. So they were a troop. Okay, there you go, a troop. So he was put in a troop, and someone made a video because they saw uh, Panchico is the name. They pu- they saw him getting rejected by other monkeys there. So he was trying to approach everybody and stuff. And so the staff members actually gave him a stuffed toy, which is a monkey stuffed toy, stuffed animal. And that's where he would go to whenever he gets rejected. And sometimes he was getting pushed by the older monkeys and whatever. And so there were a lot of like engagement on social media about how, how they pity Panchico because he was getting rejected and stuff. And then eventually, like I think 2 days ago, someone posted a video that Panchico found a an older monkey in the troop that started grooming him. And I guess that's kind of like the beginning of bonding, of someone's bond with another monkey. And so everyone was so happy that, oh, finally he was like, um he sort of found someone, like, so he's starting to belong. So he found someone that would groom him, and then he was getting hugs by from that older monkeys. And then this more like yesterday, last night, more videos came out that he was actually getting friendly with everybody else. Like there were two other older monkeys who were actually looking after him, because I think he was trying to climb whatever and he didn't know how to, so he was getting trained. Like the other two monkeys were teaching him and stuff. But there was this like the animal, like the guy in charge of the troop, the one that takes care of them. He was saying that like initial rejection is kind of normal in the animal kingdom, especially if you came out of the blue. Like, where did you come from? He was just put there because, number one, a new monkey that was raised by an animal has a different smell. So it's not familiar with other animals. And then the other thing is that because he was raised by humans, he's actually not very aware of, like, for example, hierarchy. So he doesn't know how to act around them. And of course that turns off the troop, because there is hierarchy in animal kingdom. And then he's just, in general, he doesn't know how to act around them. Like, he just doesn't know how to deal with these animals. And so the rejection was kind of normal in the beginning. But people were so happy that eventually he finally started getting like acclimated by the group. He started getting accepted by the group. So if you want to search on Facebook and on X, it's Panchico is the name of the guy, of the monkey. But I've been getting updates on him. So when I found that he started getting accepted by the troop, I also felt happy for him, because now he's starting to get hugs. The moment he was accepted by the elder, the others opened up to him. Yeah, they said, so someone was explaining that's how it really is. Like, all you need is just one person that will get you in, and then everyone will warm up to you. But they think that the one in charge, he said, primarily it's because he smells different because he grew up with humans. And the other thing is that he doesn't know hierarchy, so he doesn't know how to act. You can't just approach, like, for example, the alpha of the group. You can't do that. You're going to get rejected because he's the alpha. Like, you're going to have to get accepted by the lower ranking members of the troop first before you approach the alpha, something like that. Okay, but anyway, being groomed is always a good sign. Yeah, yeah. If you want, you can search Facebook. Okay, just adjusting myself. Okay, if you want, you can search Facebook on what happened to him actually. But I'm happy that he is finally getting accepted. Okay, so let's go back to this. So um it's interesting because what Melomanic kind of specializes on independent artists, not really the huge ones. They are um their concentration is to catch artists while they're still a small artist, like not as popular, when they're unsigned and they're trying to make it on their own. So there are a lot of artists that would, for example, list on Spotify, um, and they don't know how to promote. So they would have good music, but it's just sitting there with no listeners because they don't know how to promote. They don't have the money to promote. And this is like one way for them to get access to a bigger audience and get access to platforms they need so that they can monetize the small community that they have and then hopefully from there grow. Okay. So that's their game. Melomanic's game is that get capture the artists before they actually become big. Okay. Um, next, next is that it was also built around. So if you look at it that way, it's kind of similar or closer to Patreon, Moment House, and Veeps. Veeps is for live streaming concerts. So if you haven't been there, there's a lot of artists who would actually live stream their concerts for a fee, of course. So if you have like smaller acts that you like, they might be there. They live stream their concerts. Sometimes it's not. It's just from like example for from a bar or like a session in a studio, and they would live stream it. So what I would suggest, this is actually a very good site. If you have smaller artists that you support, one thing that you can suggest to them is sign up for Veep because then they can live stream and monetize their concerts, the performances that they have. Um, and you can do that on YouTube, of course, as well. It's just that a huge chunk of your income is going to go to whoever is the owner of the songs that you are covering if you are a cover band. Okay. So that's what Melomanic is, kind of more for independent artists. Now, Station Head, which Army was a big contributor to the fame of Station Head, and Melomanic merged. So they became one company. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are familiar with Station Head. But as I've said, Army was actually a huge part of what made this popular. So and as you all know, BTS actually came on Station Head to do their broadcast from there. So these two companies merged. Okay. And they're now one and the same. So Melomanic is the one that's taking care of the monetization. And if you have any direct to fans activities, and then Station Head, as you know, is for streaming. I stream from Station Head BTS Station. Okay, so it's actually Station Head is actually a very, very smart business platform. Well, streaming platform, but it's not really a streaming platform because they're just connecting to the different platforms, streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify. So they're kind of like the go between, which I think is very, it's like a radio station kind of, which is an easy setup. A lot of people will be surprised, but it's actually an easy setup. Okay, so what UMG is actually poised to do is to reverse, okay, to get everything end to end. So right now what's happening is that they would find or develop artists and then cascade them down to the market. But now because a new way of discovering artists is getting institutionalized, then they want to be there as well. So Melomanic and Station Head will be the platforms for discovery. So this is eventually where they will find the artists that they will sign under the label, the majors. Weavers will be for community building. So once they find that artist, they can start grooming that artist or nurturing that artist, I guess a better word, nurturing that artist and then building their community in Weavers. And once they have a proof of success, then they'll launch them as artists. So it's kind of the reverse of how they're doing things right now. Because right now, um, it is discovery of the artist first. They develop the artist and then cascade them down to the market. So just the just to keep in mind, Melomanic is more for monetization, while Even monetizes the music directly. So in Even, if you go to Even, the platform, they can actually stream their songs directly from there. And they can also sell the songs directly from there. Kind of like how iTunes is. Like in iTunes, you can buy the music directly, download it on your phone, and then play it from your phone. That's the same with Even. So you might want to check them out, but that's kind of like their play. As opposed to Melomanic, it does not really give the artist the chance to stream their songs or sell their songs directly. Well, they technically can through digital as a digital product, but also gives them the ability to do other activities and connect with fans and then monetize the fans. Okay. So that's the cleanest distinction between the two. So with this purchase, because they purchased Even, Melomanic, Station Head, and a share in Weavers from the old, it's go so the old system is that the label chooses the artist that they want to launch, nurture the artist, they get pushed to the market, and then the market buys. With the new setup they're doing, what's happening is that the artists themselves will be the ones to promote themselves. You will be, if you're an artist, you're in charge of promoting yourself first. Capture your market. So you have to first show that you have a community or a fandom that actually um, supports you. Okay. And you will do that using Even and Melomanic. Okay. Once they see, okay, that you're turning profit for yourself and for the platform, then they can sign you and build your community in Weavers. So now you're a major artist. They will be putting in some money from you, but also they will start building your community now. Okay. And then you reach a certain threshold, they will start pushing you to the market, the general market, and that's when you will have access to their other services or platforms or assets like their connection to radio, connection to media, and stuff like that. Will purchases from Even be counted towards Billboard 100? Not yet, but I think it'll happen eventually, especially because it's owned by UMG. So I think they're going to they are going to eventually implement that the same way. I think eventually they're going to count purchases from Weavers. So, but I think Even will actually happen first before Weavers, because Even is now more integrated um with Universal. Weaver is still perceived as well, it is an independent company, but UMG has a share in it. But I think eventually it'll happen. It'll just happen faster for Even. Okay. So the other development is that Spotify actually is now partnering with SeatGeek. So this sounds a bit like Bandcamp and SoundCloud, kind of like that. Um, Something like that, yes. Yes. The only thing about SoundCloud, so the main difference between SoundCloud and, for example, Spotify, is that in SoundCloud, I don't know if they changed their rules now, but it used to be that anybody can actually upload their songs there. So without any middleman, because in Spotify you can't. You need a distributor, and then the distributors will be the ones that will check the quality of your song, give you pointers on how to do your album cover. They will check the legality that you actually own everything in your song, like the beats and the melodies. If you don't, then they're gonna have to make you give credit to the original owners. So stuff like that. But SoundCloud, by nature, they actually chose to not have a middleman. So anybody can upload. So sure, it gives artists a lot of freedom. However, it suffers from a lot of low quality content as well, because you don't have a middleman that will um actually screen the quality or filter the ones that are not good enough. So that's actually really the reason there are middlemen like DistroKid. I think that those are some of the distributors. Now, a lot of people have asked me as well, why won't Spotify just do the screening themselves? Because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. They're gonna have to employ thousands upon thousands of people just to accommodate the amount of songs that are getting into their system. So if they do that, the focus of the business will change, when they could just they can just have like a handful of distributors, a contract with, I don't know, 5, 10 distributors. So the distributors will be the ones that will take care of the uploads. Like, you take care of that. Your license to upload anything on my platform, just ensure that you don't mess up. As opposed to SoundCloud, where everybody's free to upload whatever it is that they want, but no one can guarantee the result. So that's the big difference. Okay, so um I think people will just have to like keep note of this, because universal, this kind of moves a lot of people ignore. But for a businessman, someone that's into business and marketing, I kind of see the long-term play. This is how they're eventually going to develop artists. They want artists, just like many casting directors in Hollywood want actors or those that are auditioning to have a huge social media fan base. They want the same thing nowadays as well. If you want to have a single chance, 1% chance of getting signed, they want you to develop your own fandom first. And then from there, they're going to invest. Okay. Now, Spotify is actually also making their moves. One move that they're making is their partnership with SeatGeek. So now on Spotify, if you guys have Spotify, you can actually buy tickets to their concerts. So right on Spotify. So, like, for example, if you're listening to someone, and then I don't know, you like that person, you put that in your playlist and whatever, it's going to prompt you that this singer actually has a show, and you can buy your tickets right from your platform. So it makes it easier for you to support the artist. You don't have to go anywhere else to know that they're going to do an event. They want influencers more than artists. Kinda. It's something like that, yes. They want I guess a they kind of realize that they can be guaranteed of the return before they even invest, and they're counting on that. Okay, so they are now partnering with SeatGeek. Now they attempted this before back in 2022. They started selling live music tickets to fans directly. It didn't really work. I think it was just way ahead of their time. There are a lot of technologies or ideas that are just ahead of their time. And so most of the time they don't get supported by the general public because the general public isn't ready yet. So 2022, we were just coming out of the pandemic. People weren't ready to do any kind of like going into live concerts or live shows or whatever. But now people are going back to it, and then combine that with the development of more of the public or more of the listeners putting more premium on live events. I think this is the right time. Would SeatGeek fees be cheaper than Ticketmaster? I think they are way cheaper. What I am not sure is how their relationship with Ticketmaster is going to go. Like, SeatGeek does not sell tickets for all events. Some of it are still exclusive to Ticketmaster. I don't know how that coordination is going to go, because I feel like then they're going to only be selling tickets to live events that are being promoted directly by SeatGeek, right? And Ticketmaster has the monopoly on live events. So if they want to capture the entire market, then they're gonna have to also partner with Ticketmaster. Okay, so they've attempted it before. They did not really succeed, but I do think that it is because the market simply was not ready for it. But the market is certainly ready now. A lot, especially Gen Z and the entering the new generation, which is the Gen Alpha. They put a lot of premium on live events. It's very interesting because they do listen to AI music. They don't even mind listening to it, but they just have this very clear delineation between music that was created by artists, and that for them is real music, and then there's just AI generated sound. So they listen to both. They don't value the each of that the same way. And then so for them, real art needs to be supported. And so they're more inclined to doing and attending live events. So I think this is the right time for Spotify's move. I'm just wondering when Apple Music is actually gonna go and follow. So this was This is their page on live events. This was back in 2022, I think, when they first tried it. So this it's going to revert to something like this again. If you listen to the song, there are some things that you can click, one of which is their live events. And then you can also, they will also be putting up pages that features more of the artists. And eventually they're going to be selling merch directly from them. I mean, directly on the website, but they're just going to be a broker. They're the middleman. They're not really the infrastructure that holds all of the inventory. So, in other words, they will connect, for example, with weavers, but they aren't the ones that are keeping the inventory. That's weavers. They will only be the middleman selling it through their platforms, kind of like shipping. um, this there are tickets for BTS on SeatGeek now. Are this good? It should be good. Yeah, they're a legit company. I like the TM interface better than SG, but also Ticketmaster seems to allow more filtering for ticket purchases with my admittedly limited experience with both platforms. I don't use SeatGeek much. You could be right. I have checked okay. SeatGeek wouldn't let me put KT tickets in wallet. In your Apple wallet. Okay. Okay. I did not know that. I did not know that you can't. So why now the question a lot of people are asking is, but why? If an artist is already developing her or his own fandom, his own community, why would you partner with UMG first? Right? Because it seems to be counterproductive for the artist to develop their own fandom, develop their own community, release their songs and their materials on their own directly, and then once they are famous and they're making money, UMG will actually go in and sweep in and tie them to a contract. So why do you do that? First and foremost, it is money. It does take a lot of millions to actually set up a world tour. So just if you sign up, for example, if you book a venue, booking, let's just say 10 venues across America, you'll already be down more than $1 million. And if that is coming out of your own pocket, that's kind of heavy, no matter how rich you are. And then you're going to have to pay for permits. You will have to think about the production, the set, musicians, insurance, all of those things you're going to have to think about. But if you are backed by a label like UMG, then all of that will be on you. So imagine how, just look at how Blackpink members are actually doing it. They put up their own labels, they have their own management companies, they're all CEOs of their own companies, but still they are partnering and signing up with majors in the US, primarily because why will they waste, not waste, but why will they use their millions to invest on themselves when they can use somebody else's millions? That's the whole point of signing up with a major. Okay. So that's what I said. Why spend your money when you can spend somebody else's money? Okay. And also, it's not just the live events, but there's also other infrastructure and resources that a major actually has access to that an independent artist wouldn't have. Gatekeepers, for example, for Universal Music Group, because they have a long time partnership with and relationship with radio, then they can get songs easily into radio, or relationships with the media. So it's easy for them to push a narrative towards the media, and the media will just distribute that. So when you are an independent artist, you don't necessarily have access to all of that. Then, if you're not thinking about money, you can just think about the art rather than the business side of it. So, most likely, if you are an artist and you know that you've already built a strong fan base, you're a little bit more fulfilled, then you can just concentrate on scaling it up. Um, Now there's a life motto. Why spend your money when you can spend somebody else's money? So a tip, a lot of millionaires and billionaires, they actually they're uh, deep into debt. They're deep into debt because instead of having cash, they would rather convert their wealth into stocks, real estate, none of which are usually liquidatable. They're not in cash. And so one of the things that they do is to take a loan in the bank, and then they just repay that loan by taking another loan. And then they just do it until they die. Because you actually don't, they, you don't pay taxes when when it's your debt. So um Ticket Lady said, I have one Las Vegas May 1, 23rd ticket available for face value. Will this affect BTS in any way? Do you think UMG's move affect HYBE's expansion in the West? It does. Okay, I'll get there. This is a financial motto. OPM, other people's money. Can you post Discord for tickets, Asian EAC? Yes, I will. Um, we have a Discord for tickets. Please check out Patreon. Yes, I will. Okay, so let me just finish this and then I'll post the links. So yes, it will affect Hybe and it's going to affect BTS as well, but let's, and also other future artists of Hybe. So and then the other thing is that they will have, if you are signed with a major, you will actually have access to mainstream media, which you don't necessarily have if you are an independent label. Setting up a one-time PR junket. This is when you sit down and then there are different journalists that are coming in to interview you. That is easy 20 grand. Easy 20 grand. And if you are a small artist, then you probably don't have that 20 grand. But if you are supported by a major, then you have that 20 grand for sure. Okay. So access to mainstream media is another thing that you gain by signing up with a major. So basically, what UMG is setting up for is both traditional and non traditional media influence. And that's a big thing because for one of the major things that Hybe introduced to the West is direct, not introduced, but sort of institutionalized, is the direct to fan communication. They also, another thing outside of that is the power of how, the power and how to use content creators, right? So, and that's something that not a lot of people, not even armies, actually appreciate with the strategy of Hybe. For Hybe, they actually gave content creators a lot of freedom. And so it encouraged content creators to create more about BTS. I think I've mentioned this before, but for those that are new to the channel, Hybe actually is the most generous when it comes to using songs of their artists. They're not going to give it to you for free. If you use half the song, they'll most likely claim copyright, and that means they will get all the income from your video, right? If I'm creating a video on YouTube, I use half of the songs of BTS, 50% of their song, they'll probably claim copyright. But th- there is a threshold where they will just allow you to use the song, even if it is recognizably BTS's song, for example, and they won't claim copyright. And so if you're a content creator, especially if you're a small one, that's a very important thing for you. Earning from every single video is very important for a content creator. So for a lot of other labels, a lot of other management companies, like you get to, I don't know, 7 seconds of use and they'll claim copyright. Some is actually even 5 seconds. Like what can you get for 4 seconds? So if you're a reaction channel, a reaction video channel, you're probably not getting monetized a lot because a lot of your content will be copyrighted by the content owner. But Hybe actually has the biggest leeway in terms of how long you can use before they claim copyright. So if you're a content creator, your tendency is to just do more of this because you get to earn and you cut down on everything else. Even if you like that group, you cut down on that because you're not going to earn. So that is one of the ways they allowed they gave they empowered content creators, which a lot of labels are still not appreciating. A lot of labels and a lot of management companies are still so possessive of the use of the name, image, and likeness of their artists that anytime you use any of the image, they copyright you. So you're like, it's frustrating. If you're a content creator, it's frustrating. Because like I want to personally, there's a lot of artists I really want to feature, but they wouldn't even allow me to publish the video, even if it is not monetized. They'll just block it. So I'm like, so who's going to do the video that I've worked so hard on creating? And also, most of the time, you don't even know until after. Like you've already written the script, you've already shot it, you've already edited it. After you post it, they claim copyright. So like all of those hours of work down the drain. I won't be able to earn. And as I've said, it's okay if you copyright it for as long as you let it play. But many of them will block you. Okay. But Hybe is one of the most generous, one of the most generous. Like, even especially in the early days, like when I first started creating content, I was able to use like 5 minutes of their content and they never copyrighted me. To this day, those content, they still allow it. Um, I've never used. I've always been very conscious about the songs that they're stricter than the other content, but that gives you an appreciation on how they were able to realize, okay, all of this, like, content creators are marketers that are helping us. Like they were able to put a monetary value on every creator's influence, and they nurture that. Now, as I've said, going back to Western labels, a lot of Western labels don't appreciate it. They're still very much into, no, that is my property. I'm going to monetize it. They don't compensate content creators for helping them market, which I know they didn't ask for, but doesn't change the fact that content creators still help them market. But finally, UMG is kind of realizing, oh, it's important. We've already seen how Hybe succeeded in this, specifically Big Hit, which started with BTS. This is one of the ways they actually succeeded, and that is by empowering content creators. Okay. And they're getting into it now. That is why that is why they're acquiring many other platforms that will allow them to work directly with content creators. They have, I think it's here, it's called, this is it, House of Carmen. So this is a social media, a content creator platform. You can sign up. I started signing up. I haven't finished it because there's so many tasks that I have to finish, but it will allow you to, so if you're a content creator, you sign up on House of Carmen, and then they will, if you are able to push a certain number of traffic to some artists, whatever, you can get paid for it. You'll get money for it. So it kind of encourages a lot because they have a lot of artists. So then the tendency is for many of these content creators to just sign up on House of Carmen because many of them listen to these artists anyway. So if I'm like a content creator who loves many of their artists, I'm just like, might as well make money. So I'll go there, I'll pull some of my audience from other platforms and empower their platform. So they're getting into that now. Um, but instead of, they still are kind of being, I would say, possessive about it, because instead of just allowing content creators from all over the world to share, at the very least, share on the income, they're trying to get them in their own platform. But it's still a huge step, I would say. And they're still getting into it. They're starting to become aware of the power of content creator. Now, this is where a little bit of my frustration is coming in. Not really frustration, but I guess like disappointment probably, is that Hybe has built this business system, right? They've been building it for the last 7 years, and I think they're finally getting a hang of it. They kind of know what they need to do in order to directly connect fan um fan support to the actual music. That's why they now have like streaming parties in Weverse and stuff. So they've been building it for the last 7 years, but you have labels like UMG, majors like UMG, Sony, Columbia. sorry, Warner, that are just sweeping in the last 2 years. And because they have the money to buy companies, that's what they're doing. They're like, everyone else has already proven this business model. Now I'm just going to buy the company. So that's what money can buy for you. All the research, all the experience that Hybe and other platforms from Asian companies have been building on and have been experimenting. Now, UMG and other majors are just buying. It's not UMG's fault. I mean, they have the money. Why not do it? And they have artists that they need to boost. So if I were in their position, I do the same thing. If I have the money, I'll just keep on buying other companies that already have a proven track record. So so I think that's kind of my disappointment. It's like, okay, so um, one of the ways that I thought Weavers was going to prioritize the growth in North America. They didn't. In By their own admittance, they actually did not prioritize Weavers growth in North America. They focused in Japan, which is not a big that not I wouldn't consider it a bad investment, because they are more established in Japan, so it's easier to actually get their ROI, their return on investment. But now UMG is kind of like setting foot on the US for that business model, the direct to fan business model, or what they call the super fan. But they don't have BTS. No, I agree. I mean, a lot of the par of the success of Weavers really became possible because of BTS, right? But but I think they're kind of, as I've said, this is 7 years of experimentation for Hybe. 7 years of determining how are we going to translate fan support to the actual music itself, right? Because when Weaver started, it was really just a place for fans to get access to their announcements directly, get access to the posts of BTS or of other artists, and a way for fans to post. But that was primarily it. And then they integrated Weaver Shop. Now there is Station Head. Now there's blah, blah, blah. So they're kind of like, okay, they're starting to get to know how to connect fan support to the actual music. And then the other thing is that they're realizing that no matter the features, you can have the best platform feature in the world. If you don't have the right artist, nothing is going to happen. So I think they hit a jackpot with partly with LESSERAFIM. CORTIS is very active. And of course, it all started with BTS. But I would say CORTIS, the Seraphim are the two that are most active in utilizing the fan platform, the platform of Weavers. They're really utilizing the different features in there. And it went because they're using it so much, a lot of other needs are coming up, and Hybe is learning how to convert those need to meet those needs to monetize it. um, but going back to this, that I think that's just my frustration. This is 7 years, almost a decade of Weavers experimenting, and it all started with BTS. And because you have the money, you can just come into 5 years later and still lead, because they are now leading the super fan platform in the US. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The main difference is, of course, culture. So in the East, we're very much about gratitude. We like giving back to fans, but that is not the same for Western artists. So no matter the greatness of the features of all of these platforms, if their artists don't utilize it, then nothing is going to happen. But that is why they're starting from the bottom. That's why they partnered with Melomanic, with Station Head, because they want to pick the artists. They want to spot the artists that are going to go out of their way to go beyond just providing music and actually build a relationship and then invest on that artist. Just so that's just a little disappointment, but that's how business works. Those that have the capital and those that have the ability to actually see, they will win. So, but I hope that the next concentration of weavers is North America. Now that they have shifted, a lot of the distraction when it comes to Hybe, a lot of the distraction is coming from their earnings report becomes so public, and it becomes such a huge concern for a lot of people, primarily because they are the home of BTS, right? But hopefully, now that they have reversed their dividends, the stock market dividends, then the public is going to lay off a little bit. Public will hopefully eventually realize it's not really always about net profit. I've said in my two videos ago, one of the videos that I published, that Spotify did not earn. Oh, the video that I published this morning. Spotify actually didn't go positive until 15 years later. So for 15 years, they were on a loss. They were reporting at a loss. It didn't deter investors. It didn't deter stock market stockholders. But it took them 15 years before they earned. Weavers only took 7 years. But that every time they will report a loss, it's such like a tragedy for the entire global music industry because they're poor in managing, they're blah blah blah. But in fact, that's not just how it works. If you want to expand big, then you do invest big. So I think by guaranteeing some dividends, people will lay off a little bit and they just can concentrate on actually growing because the stockholders are going to say, oh, we're going to get our money anyway. We have a guarantee. So it's okay. Okay. Great video, but thank you. All right. Do you have questions? Thank you. That was a great video. Thank you. Okay, so just a little bit of frustration, but I hope that Weavers actually catches up. I know that their deal with UMG is actually 7 years. So let's see what they're going to be doing after. Also, all of these efforts that they are making, the partnership with Geffen, the groups that they are launching, and the reason that they're actually trying to launch it really fast is that they want to be able to set their foot flat on the grounds of the US market. So if they succeed in all of that, then they wouldn't need UMG eventually. I plan on going premium. I have Amazon Music, Spotify, or should I get Apple Music, which will help BTS more? Um, I'm gonna say Apple Music. I think in terms of like scoring, in terms of value, Apple Music and Spotify are just the same. But Apple Music, number one, has a better sound quality than Spotify, way better, way, 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 way better. And then the other thing is that they pay better. So if you compare the two, I would say Apple Music. Now, I'm not going to say that Spotify is also not important. I have mentioned before that I think eventually there's fragmentation, meaning when it comes to achievements, it will not just be about Billboard. S- Platform specific achievements will also be very important, and I will start hyping them up as well, because I think distributing the power to several platforms is better than actually putting it on one, which is Billboard. So Billboard they have been controlling who they've basically been dictating which songs are successful, which acts are successful for such a long time. And I think if you fragment that influence, they will hopefully they will start eventually realizing, okay, we're going to have to start shaping up if we don't want to absolutely lose that influence. So I would say just because they pay more, and I think it weighs just the same when it comes to charting, then I would say Apple Music. But it's not to say that if you still decide to go Spotify, it's not valuable. It is still valuable. Okay. Next question. Western companies will also focus on monetizing fandoms rather than nurturing fandoms. That is what they are gearing towards. Yes, that's what they're gearing towards because as I've said, the reason they've purchased all of these platforms is so that they could see which artists are expanding by themselves. Like they want artists to begin their own career, grow their own career, and once they know they will make it, like they actually have the probability of making it bigger in the mainstream, that's when they'll invest. So yeah, it's more about monetizing existing fandoms than nurturing fandoms to a certain degree. But UMG has to come through for BTS as well. Yes. Yes, they do have to come through for BTS. And I've mentioned this before, I'll just say it again. I know that when BTS left Colombia, Ron Perry got a lot of flack for that because he apparently did not meet BTS in person or whatever. But one of the things that I would say I appreciate about Ron Perry is the amount of effort that he put into promoting Dynamite and Butter. And this is not to say he did it for BTS. Of course, he did it for himself, just like what UMG is doing now. They're doing it for themselves. But still, allegedly, I'm not claiming to know this. This is true for sure. But allegedly, for Dynamite and for Butter, no, for Dynamite first. For Dynamite, he actually went to station managers, met with the station managers directly, radio station managers, in order to secure spins for Dynamite, like for a CEO of the biggest label, for the biggest major in the US, for him to actually go to the station managers and meet with them directly, that gives you an idea on how dedicated and committed he is in getting the song Dynamite actually some airplay. And then the other alleged, another rumor is that the reason he's listed as a songwriter for Butter is so that he can convince the station managers to give it spins, because he realized he cannot use the same trick twice. Right? He's already met with the station managers once directly. So he felt like, if I do that again, I'll probably not get the same result. So he put his name as a songwriter, just so the station manager will say, "Oh, it's a song of Ron Perry, then I'll play it." And they did give the song a spin. So I saw that those types of effort, and this is not to say that he's a great guy. I'm sure he's just as flawed as everybody else, but at least he made those effort. I'm still waiting for that kind of effort for UMG. And when I'm reminded again of that executive from Geffen, if you would remember that executive from Geffen, who responded to an army who was asking for a spin, like asking Geffen to actually promote who, I think. So, like, people were tagging executives from Geffen. And instead of responding with, yeah, sure, we're doing our best, the usual blah, at least be respectful or at least be polite. If you can't be honest, at least be polite. But instead of that, what did do you remember this incident when he said that the song of the year is Gracie Adams' song or something like that? That's how he responded. And I'm like, this is, for all the, I don't know if the UMG CEO has already met with BTS. I really don't give, I don't care. My concern is for them to promote BTS. At least I saw that in Ron Perry with what he did for Dynamite. But with that UMG, I'm like, that is just one that it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But however, they are doing other things with Hybe, like this partnership with Hybe America, this partnership of Geffen and Hybe for Cat's Eye, and then they have a second boy band. So all of those things, you also have to consider. Okay, maybe the effort is going to a different direction. Like, you know, the Cat's Eye is kind of like the key now to, maybe not the key, but like they are serving as an entry way for Hybe America to be legitimized as a US company and not just a company, a subsidiary of Hybe um in in the US. So anyway, it's complicated, it's irritating. but but at least, at least things are being done. You know that when they did a project for Cat's Eye, you know m- moves are being made. And then there's another boy band, and hopefully the boy band is also going to be successful. It's going to further legitimize Hybe America as a US company and not just a subsidiary from of a Korean company. Okay, next. Okay, so I just hope that in the next several years, Weverse is going to fast track US expansion. I hope that they will concentrate on that. They do have a lot of artists. You not a lot, but they already have some Western artists in their platform already. But they do need to exert some more effort in the US market, because just for me, I feel like, you crack this model, you crack this business model. It is but right that you first and foremost be the biggest beneficiary of it. So I hope they do that. I also think that eventually they do now have like they can do streaming parties in Weverse as well. So it's kind of like the beginning of a radio station. I hope they eventually do a radio station and then start their own streaming service. Actually, their partnership with Netflix could be instrumental. And I will get to that when I discuss BTS. But that's very important in connection with their own radio station and their own streaming service. Are Western artists interested in keeping up with Weaver's presence, though? Not the current big ones. I mean, if you are a Rihanna or a Beyonce or I don't know, like a Justin Timberlake. Why? What for? You don't this you don't need those, right? They're made. It will be for new artists. It will be for new artists. Anything like all of these new platforms or whatever, this will be for new artists. The more established old timers, they don't care about this. It will be for new artists. This is spinning. Fairy, thank you for all the content you feed us weekly. I wish the best for your magazine. We grow with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Honestly, who listens to radio anymore? South? Midwest? South and Midwest. There's still like country music listeners are still big on radio. Okay. Another thing that I think needs to happen will be the reinvention of events places. Like it's so difficult to book an event for, like, if you're a small singer, not a small but like an independent singer, and you have like that and then you have like a dedicated fan base. It's still very hard to book an event place where you can go and play, right? It's hard. It used to be like bars. Well, I guess it still happens. Like there will be bars that will give bands like an opportunity to play and whatever. But I think it has to evolve and make it easier for artists. So this is actually like a business idea. I think Eventbrite is actually a candidate in doing this, but it has to evolve in some sort of a self-service type of thing with an option to hire an on-site staff. Like there are restaurants like bars that would actually have live bands, right? Um, so I think it'll have to evolve into something more than they will have to become more than just a restaurant with a live band. I think they need to provide artists an avenue to also promote through their customers in the restaurant. So there has to be, and then give this artist like, setting up um a platform where artists can actually book themselves in this restaurant, in this venue for a certain night. Let it become a self-service one would be way more profitable, and then allow the artists that will come in and play to have a cut of the bar tab or something like that. So so I anyway, there's a lot of spins that they that they can do. Actually, Isang, the duo, I've mentioned them before. It's a hip hop group in South Korea. That was actually the business they had in mind before they broke up. They were going to put up an event place where artists can actually book themselves, and they'll have like a weekly concert or whatever. And for them, they'll provide the venue for free, but they will take a cut of the bar tab. So, but then the artists, for their fans to go, they need to buy a ticket that includes free beer or something, and that's where not BTS, but Isang is supposed to get a cut. So I think the venue place will also, like the venue industry, live music event will also have to reinvent itself. It's so old fashioned that I think it doesn't really cater to smaller art, like smaller creators or smaller artists anymore, independent artists. Okay. Um, the other development is Lyria. So this is the AI of Google. If you have a poem, it can actually turn it into music. So you turn them. Um, New country music artists need dive bars to start out, then they move to country fairs, etc., then to concert venues. Correct. Yeah. So this AI platform of Google allows you to convert your poem or maybe just a prompt. And then you can give it like pictures for it to know what kind of feel you want for your song. And then it'll turn it into a 30-second track. So you can become a lyricist if you want. 30 seconds. Now they said that seems to have been it. Super strange. Okay. So they said the CEO of the platform said that they don't really intend to make it like a full AI, at least not yet. Um what they're trying to do right now is to give you a way to express yourself. Okay. So, but I thought this is really funny for me because it's like this is going to be a hit for a lot of writers that can't find like a composer to collaborate with. Like if you just have a poem, it convert into a music, into a song. Just know like give it like pictures. I think it'll ask you for pictures. So that it will know like what kind of ambience do you want or whatever, and then it'll turn it into a 30-second song. 30 sec- so try it if you want. But it says that it's just supposed to be self-expression. I turn my poems into songs. Did you ever listen to my songs, Miss Fairley? I put it into your message box. No. What message box? Like email? No. You sent it? I wonder how a haiku would sound. Haiku would sound. Try it. Thanks to every who helped me, Abraham Nadira. Okay. Yeah, send it, Jazzy. I did not get it. Resend it. That's what Google is saying while they train their AI. I wouldn't trust it. So that's another thing. They actually train their AI using existing musics that are on existing songs, existing music on their platform, which is YouTube. And then they did not inform the content creators, the artists, um, on the platform, and that included songs of BTS, of everybody that's on their platform. They use that to train their AI. So rapping is poetry. Yes. Please post the Discord website, Patreon, etc., mom. Oh, okay. Uh, there you go. Do you see it? Okay. So yeah, it was a big like shock to the industry because they apparently used they didn't even tell the owners of the songs. They just used their songs to train their AI. So that's it. Google trained its AI on copyrighted music. Sources say now it's trying to make deals. So they approached owners of the song after they used the songs to train their AI. But the company framed the feature as a tool for personal creative expression rather than professional music production. I have not tried it. I am planning to try it for fun. And besides, you can't upload, I mean, 30 seconds is not a song. But my guess is that they're eventually going to go 3 minutes for a fee. Like you can do this 30 seconds for free and then 30 minutes and then they'll give you like the whole song. If you pay, then the AI can actually do the entire song for you for free. Huge copyright implications then. Yeah. But there's always, if they do this right, it can become a discovery platform. We have very, very few great lyricists. Do you agree? We have very few great lyricists. Do you agree with that? A lot of our a lot of pop songs don't make sense. But there are very few writers, lyricists basically, who can craft poetry and music. I'm not saying there isn't any, but there's very few. So one of the ways this platform can be used is for the majors or any label for that matter to find the right lyricist, right? If this actually works, if this actually is used for the right reason, they can do it that way. They can discover lyricists, which is very, very few. We have very few great lyricists. I'm not saying there isn't any. Obviously there are. Yes, RM is one. The rest of BTS members, all of them are great lyricists. But yeah, they can find this. They can find the right lyricist here. If they find it, if they use this for the right reason, for the right purpose, that is. So, according to Joel Yawili, which is the senior product manager for Gemini app, Gemini is the AI of Google. The goal of these tracks isn't to create a musical masterpiece, but rather to give you a fun, unique way to express yourself. So that's what I will stand by for. If if people know how to use this right, this will be a way for them to find the right lyricist, or maybe even the right producer. Okay. So the another partnership is TikTok and Apple Music. Eminem is one of them. Yeah. Eminem, yes, and Kendrick, yes. And J. Cole, which is so my two favorite artists as rappers are aside from BTS members are Eminem and J. Cole, and he released this album. So please listen to his album. Okay, so TikTok and Apple Music actually had a partnership, and this is also one of the reasons I recommended getting Apple Music, paid Apple Music. TikTok will now allow users to stream full songs through Apple Music without leaving the app. So if you're on TikTok and you want to play a music, you want to play a song, you don't have to leave TikTok and you can just play Apple Music on TikTok. So if you are doom scrolling for 2 hours on TikTok, you can play the song right there and then. The same thing for any creator. I can play it on TikTok without having to leave TikTok. So if I am live streaming on TikTok, for example, I can just play with I can play from I can play yeah, I can play the song from Apple Music without leaving TikTok. So this is another giant partnership. If this actually pushes through, it's going to be big for Apple Music. They might take a huge chunk of Spotify uh, market. We need BTS and an orchestra that was so phenomenal with J Hope in France. I agree. AI needs to stay out of creative areas. Machines should make mundane work easier easier so humans have more time to make art. Mundane and dangerous, I would say. AI should be doing dangerous. Okay, so when AI is integrated with robotics, I think that has always been initially when they were developing AI, it was for that so that they can develop robots that will do dangerous tasks like rescue, getting into a burning building, something like that, and finding dogs and people. And, those are the things, or going inside a ditch or whatever. Those were supposedly the original purpose of AI. J. Cole is also good. Of course, is great. Okay, any questions before I leave the updates? We can go to something more positive. Oh, I'm so fed. Sorry, I thought by playing the lottery, I might have a chance to pay for a BTS private concert, but they have rejected billionaire and world leaders' request for private concerts. So what's BTS's future in the US? Um, I think a lot of the I think we haven't heard a single song. We haven't heard a single song from Arirang. I do think they're going to definitely get some radio spins. Okay, so that's a given. How much, I don't know if it's going to be more than Dynamite. That was a phenomenal stage in their career. But whatever Hybe is setting up in the US, I think it's going to start with BTS's comeback, but the fulfillment, the ones that will really enjoy the maturity of everything that Hybe is setting up will be the next album after this one. So I don't know what's that going to be. My guess um is also, my guess would be solo releases, and then the other acts like Cortis. But it will start with BTS. But it will start with BTS. What do you consider mundane? Are you asking me, or are you asking the other person who said it? I can give people a way to write and see their writing to do more than they would have done at their own. It can give people, right. Can you please do the BTS requested to pay more topic next, since we are getting close to time to pay more topic? Can you please do the BTS requested to pay more topic next, since we are getting close to time? Yes. Okay. So, what is it? Oh, 126. Okay. So, well, first, happy birthday to J Hope. I actually mentioned J Cole because in his live stream, he said that he texted J Cole. He has J Cole's number, and that he actually, um, uh, they actually, sorry. So he said that he told J Cole, "You will always be my goat." So I just thought, oh, you're texting each other. Okay, my two favorites. So happy birthday to him. I'm happy that he actually did a live stream during his birthday. I I think he said there's so much to unpack in his live stream, but here are some of the things that he said. But before that, of course, RM started driving now. I thought he was very pleased and amused that someone actually is allowing him to to drive. J. Cole sent the album. Yeah, they're besties now. Yeah, I think it was like when Jin arrived, I was like, of course, who else is going to be there? Jin, of course, will be there. So, but I will unpack that in the next episode. But another is that the most consumed artist according to IFPI in the last 6 years. 2020 was BTS, 2021 was BTS, and then Taylor Swift from 2022 to 2025. And this is when I would think like that's how it's, of course, spilled milk. It's done. There's nothing we can do about it. But imagine what they could have done. OT7ATW, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But imagine what could have happened if they did not serve the military. They were the most consumed artists 2020, 2021. And then because they served, it's all gone. Imagine that. Okay. So that, and then, so these are the things that we know about the album thus far. Number one, the title is Arirang. There's something about colors, a reference to his colors. I think the colors that they use for the vinyl might actually be more than just colors of the vinyl. It might stand for something. But I don't know what it is, but it might stand for something. There probably are units. And I got this because when he was in his live stream, when J Hope mentioned that there is some collaboration, but in a different way. He was asked, like, are you going to do collaborations? And he said, yeah, but in a different way. So I was like, so maybe it's not them collaborating with someone else. And I've always said that because we have been waiting for them for the last 4 years. I'm sure that they know this too. What we want is them, right? So I'm really hoping that there are no collaborators, or if there is going to be a collaborator, they'll just do it for the remixes, but not for the main track. Like for this album, if I have it my way, I would just want them and no one else. But let's see. as I always say, when I express what I want, it has nothing to do with their reality and their choices. This is just me expressing my wants and my desire. Okay, so probably I'm guessing he's talking about units within the groups, but not necessarily collaborators from outside. If they ever have one, I hope they just do it at the remixes. Okay, we know that there's going to be 14 tracks and that there's going to be some sort of a love song or several love songs in an album, and he said that his favorite is the first track. So let's see what that is. It could also be a collaboration, because when he said like collaboration in a different way, it could also be like remixes or production. Like if maybe Ryan Tedder produced one of the songs, that's a collaboration, but he's not going to be singing in the song. Maybe that's it. I'm hoping for that because I really would just want them and nobody else. You want me to share Silver for our. Okay. Is there a song called Love Song? No, but I think the current promotion that they are having, Jazzy, thank you. I sent my song to you on Instagram. I have others, but the one I sent to you is my favorite. Okay, I'll listen to it. Thank you, Jazzy. I'll listen to it, I promise. Um, and this album is unlike any of the others. Yeah, they have emphasized. So I do think that they this is just a guess. Again, I have never seen I've never heard any of their songs. But I think the current promotions of the love songs, that's connected in one way or another to the actual album. So it may be different types of love, something like that. It could be just like what they have on the playlist, on the Spotify playlist. It could be brotherly love, which will be their songs for each other. It could be mother to son, which will be their songs to their parents. It could be fandom. It could be friends, different types. So maybe, maybe that it's an actual hint. Like all of those titles that they put in the playlist, it's an actual hint on what the songs are actually going to be. Let's see. I mean, we know that RM has been binging on these different types of books. I also discussed that in one of my videos. Specifically, there are 3 books that he's mentioned that has really played a huge part, that has almost influenced him a great deal, and it was all about love. So maybe they're probably like, this is like a topic that all of them are thinking about, and it came out while they're in the military. Some of the things that they thought about was that, like love. There is an interview with Diplo. He said it will be album of the year. It is. They have their songs. Their albums have always been album of the year. Okay. So let's talk about Netflix deal structure. Um, BTS pay more. I am confused. BTS pay more. BTS pay more. BTS pay? I don't know what you're talking about. You're gonna have to be more explicit. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Um, okay, so Netflix deal structure. This Someone sent me an inquiry about what they like. How is BTS earning from this? So I actually talked about this, and a huge chunk of the information that I actually got, I talked about in the Friday live stream for members only, and I think I did that last Friday, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to give you a little bit more of what you in general you can speculate on. Okay, so for example, um, BTS requested to pay more. BTS requested to pay more. Okay. Got it. Yes, it is here. I am so sorry. I'm probably, I only got 6 hours of sleep, maybe five, I think five. So I'm sorry. I was so slow on the uptake. Okay. So just on the Netflix itself, I think I'll make it. We still have like 26 minutes to go. Okay, so upfront licensing fee is one of the fee structures of um of Netflix. So I can tell you specifically how they're gonna get paid. I mean, I will not do that to BTS. So these are the ways that Netflix in general pays. How's that? Okay. But I did talk about, as I've said, I talked about this in the Friday live stream for members only. But these are just some general info that you can actually, that will be accessible to anybody actually. So one of the ways is that they pay a negotiated fee. So they will, so when they get the distribution, that's what it's called, the distribution, when they live stream it, that's a distribution deal. So when they sign up for distribution, usually the artist asks for a flat fee. So you pay me, for example, you pay me $5 million, and whatever you earn from that, you get whatever. And for the who is the new high boss? Who's the new high boss? It's the Big Machine guy took over for Big Machine. I'll get there. Okay. So usually they said, according to Netflix, that they are actually more than willing to do a profit share. But most of the artists that come to them that they partner with would rather pay, that would rather get paid a flat fee. So most of their partnerships, I'm not saying all, but most of their partnerships work on a flat fee. Okay. So I distribute your content, you create your content, I distribute your content, and then I'll just pay you a flat fee. And whatever I earn from it, advertising, whatever, sponsorship, I get, you don't get a cut on that. Okay. So, and they also only have rights over the distribution of that deal for a fixed period. Okay, so the biggest one, the biggest pay whoever got their show on Netflix is Chris Rock. So apparently it's like 80 million or 70 million. So I'm not sure if that is true, but that is what floated in the industry. If you cut it, let's say, oh, everyone was exaggerating. Even if you cut it by half, 35 million, 40 million is still a lot. Okay. Or it could be production plus rights buyout. So meaning they will spend part or all of the production fee. They'll spend for that, and then they'll pay the artist, and then they'll get all the rights for the show. They usually do this for dramas. So for example, for Squid Games, they produce the entire show, they pay the director, they have rights over the idea, but they have the rights over the IP. And this is what I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, that South Korea is actually not earning from any of this. It's the director earned, but not, so the director paid his income tax to South Korea, but other than that, Netflix is the only one benefiting. So think about what Hybe actually mentioned. They said that they retain the rights, right? They said, BTS said that, sorry, Big Hit actually said, no, we retain the rights. So it's not a rights buyout. Okay, because they retain the rights. But they also said, Hybe actually said, and it's public, that Netflix is going to cover the cost of the production itself. Okay. And we know that, of course, BTS is not going to do this for free. They're not going to turn it over to Netflix for free. So they probably are getting paid for it. So it's most likely a hybrid of those two models. So they're paying for production, Big Hit retains the right, and BTS actually gets paid from this deal. And Netflix is just going to get their money back either through streaming, probably ads, sponsorship, and new subscriptions. So it's a hybrid of the two. That's most likely where you are. Now, how much? As I've said, the biggest pay went to Chris Rock. The latest one was the match of Tyson and Jake, this influencer, Jake something, who became a boxer. So he got paid 40 million. Tyson got paid 20 million. Okay. New York Fashion Week, Harry and Meghan, they retain the rights to that they produce. So they just pay them and then they retain the rights. So, revenue share is something that Netflix has been pushing. They said that they're actually willing to just revenue share, but most artists, Jake Paul, okay, there you go, Jake Paul. So, but they said most artists aren't really into it. They would just rather get a flat fee and Netflix keeps whatever it is that they keep. So, I gave you a range on how much they're paying. They paid the highest deal forever, allegedly ever. At least the top two, which is the Jake Paul versus Tyson. One got paid 40, the other got paid 20. But the production company of Jake Paul was the one who put up the event. So he has his own production company, MVP. He put up the event, but he charged for the entrance. So for if you want to go to the venue and actually pay and actually watch, because they did it in MGM maybe, I can't remember. So you have to pay. So he earned, his company put it together, but he earned at gate. At gate is what the ticket price. That's we in the industry we call it at gate. So he earned from gate, and then he got paid by Netflix. But he also spent for putting together the production. Okay. So 40 for him, 20 for Tyson. And then Chris Rock allegedly got paid 70. Let's just say that's an exaggeration. Let's just say 35. So think about it. Is BTS going to get paid more than that or less? So look at your, like, the different factors. Are they, is either bigger globally, right? Think about that. Okay, is anyone bigger globally than this three? Tyson, Jake Paul, and him and Chris Rock. And then the mere fact that they are putting in money in the production. So that's going most likely gonna go less. They will take that out of the what they could have paid BTS because they're going to be paying for production. So that's the extent of what I can tell you. Then you judge. Like maybe you'll have a range at the very least. You'll probably not land on a specific number, but you'll probably have a range on how much they're gonna get paid for that. I think Netflix is hoping to work with Hybe and BTS again in the future, so they are okay with this type of deal now. Okay, so so this is actually what um a lot of this is where they are actually headed. Netflix is headed because one of the most lucrative deals that they have is their deal with WWE. Okay, so with WWE, they have the rights to air all of their fights. They just paid WWE a certain amount, and then they will have the rights to distribute all of their fights. Allegedly, this is one of their most lucrative deal. They paid 5 billion for 10 years of exclusive streaming rights of WWE. This is what they are pursuing. They want to find partners with whom they can actually do long-term deals with. Meaning, I'll pay you a certain amount. All future streaming will be through me. So maybe this is something that they are looking into Weverse or Hybe for because they have a lot of artists on their roster. So if they can lock a deal with Weverse or Big Hit the same way Disney had for 5 projects, then it will be more profitable for them. They'll pay BTS or Big Hit a certain amount, but all future streaming will be on me. Or maybe they already have, and the first two is just two of the long-term partnership that they are going to be pursuing. We're gonna have to wait for the next move on that. Okay. Um. So the deal with WWE spans pay-per-view events and repeats, and it's 10 years. Okay. Uh I personally like Castle. So most likely Netflix might open itself to non-mainstream creators. That's another thing that they're most likely going to have. And that might actually support what Weavers and UMG are actually doing, where they are building their own influencer platforms. So if you go to Netflix, there's a podcast. You can actually listen and watch to some of their podcasts. They're building that, which means that Netflix is actually starting to be more open to not very popular influencers or content creators. So they might head towards that direction. Um, okay, so this is BTS being asked to pay more. So allegedly, so we know that the Seoul government said that they are going to be shouldering some of the cost, although they weren't really particular about what cost they are going to be shouldering. But they did announce that they are going to be co-sponsoring the event. I don't know if that's a requirement. Maybe Hype didn't have a choice or Big Hit didn't have a choice. I don't know. But they said that they're going to be shouldering some of the cost because they're co-sponsoring the event. As I've said, it's also possible that it's just because it was a condition, as part of the condition of the approval of the use of Gwangwamon. But one of the funniest things that happened, aside from them asking BTS to pay more, allegedly in this article, the amount that they are going to be spending keeps on going up. So they're asking BTS to pay more. They're asking HYBE to pay more in order to secure the event. I've discussed with you that it is natural for the government, the local government, to want HYBE and Big Hit to pay for the use of the venue to guarantee security, the preservation of the venue, because that's a historical site. And I think that is right that they pay, that HYBE or Big Hit actually pays. I know the argument that Seoul is going to benefit from it, and I've always said it does not matter. That is a historical site. If that happened in my country, for example, if I learn BTS is doing a concert in front of Jose Rizal's monument, Jose Rizal is our national hero. My concern is, hey, look, great, thank you for doing this for my country, but you better be damn sure that place is going to be pristine when you leave. So, because no amount of tourism will ever bring back the history that will be lost if that place ever gets destroyed. Okay. So I do think they need to pay. I think, and I consulted this security guy who's been doing this for a long time, and he said that it is a standard practice for people like him, for whoever is heading the security, to keep on pushing and pushing and asking for more. Because from his point of view, his only concern is that it's not going to happen on my watch. So for as long as you're willing to give me more, I will keep on asking for more, because his concern is that nothing is going to happen, nothing is going to get destroyed, nobody's going to get hurt. Okay, what is now starting to become unreasonable is that they're asking BTS to pay for everything else. So a lot of things will have to be allegedly canceled because BTS is going to do this event. One of the most ridiculous is actually this guy who's supposed to get married around that area in the same day. So he's going to get married on the 21st, and he's going to get married around that same area, like very close to that area. And then there's also a birthday party that's happening on the 21st, close to that area. What the some of the newspapers are saying is that when is the cutoff? There is, so according just to the person that I interviewed, he said there is no cutoff. He's going to keep on asking for it until they start saying no. It's again, his concern is that not on my watch. If I can have one securities to one person, he'll do that. So he'll keep on asking for more until they say no. Then he'll work within. Of course, he has a minimum. Okay, so allegedly, some newspapers are pushing for this narrative that BTS and Big Hit pays for the cancellation of some of these events that's happening around the area. Because according to some of, like for example, this guy who's getting married, he said that sure, he wants to cancel his wedding because there's going to be a lot of people around the area. But because when he cancels, he's gonna have to pay. He wants Big Hit to pay for the cancellation and for the rescheduling of his concert. Okay. So obviously a very stupid thing to play out. And a lot of netizens in South Korea are actually calling the newspaper out. Aside from that, aside from the wedding, there's also a birthday event that's happening. I think it's a kid's birthday party. So they said that, oh, it's not going to be, there's going to be so many people, they're not going to enjoy the event and whatever, so they want to cancel it, but they're going to have to pay and reset it up, so they want Big Hit to pay for all of that. Okay. So, you know, it's a kid's birthday and it's a wedding. We all want them to be happy on that day. But that place is always packed. It's always busy, whether or not BTS is going to be there. There's always the danger, there's always a possibility that there is an event happening in Gwanghwamun Square, whether or not it is BTS. There could be a festival, an exhibit, a mini concert, and it happens all the time. They use that place all the time. So it is so obvious that all of these reporters are just nitpicking, looking for a way to spoil what is about to happen. Now, netizens are keeping them in check. Like a lot of Koreans are actually starting to voice out how disappointed they are of this kind of coverage. Like, why on earth will you even give these people a space in your newspaper, a space on your, like, this is just absolutely ridiculous. You decided to book an event in one of the busiest place, and then you complain when a busy thing happens. Like, it's so obvious that that media is just looking for something that will stick. So, warning, this will happen more and more until we get close to the actual event itself. So I think this is just the start. This one didn't stick because a lot of netizens actually called them out. But I think they will actually throw more. They will attempt to do more. Okay, one of which is the attendance of many diplomats. Not all countries have leaders that agree with the political beliefs of the netizens, or the lack thereof. I don't know. So most likely, if a representative of a country whose leaders they don't like attends the event, they're going to make an issue out of it. Just to make it easy, a lot of Italians don't like a lot of Italians are criticizing their current prime minister. If there is anybody from Italy to attend, an ambassador or whatever, then they're probably going to get criticized for it. The US is another one. We have a president that is unliked by many of the hated by a lot of people. So most likely they're going to make an issue out of it. Why are they attending the concert? Okay, so get ready for all of that. Now, there is a speculation that this is a PR play. Probably 90% most likely, but doesn't matter. If you don't buy it, it has no value. But just do know that they are going to try and do more of this as time goes by. The closer we get to the actual comeback, the more of it we're going to be hearing. Most likely, there's going to be one big attempt before the actual comeback. I don't know what that is, but I don't know. Something is they're going to release something, but I think there's something one big attempt before the actual comeback. Stupidity knows no boundaries. It's like booking something in Times Square. Exactly. Exactly. It's like booking something in Times Square and then getting upset that there's an actual event happening. It's one of the busiest places in Seoul. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. Okay. The mayor of Seoul is not any better. Whatever, BTS will move on regardless. But just be prepared. I think they're going to do one more media play before the actual, like one huge attempt before the actual event. um remember, armies are on a lockdown. I don't know. What I do know is that if they BTS on anything, it will not go well for anyone that causes BTS pain in the Seoul government. Okay, so they are allegedly already starting to do some installations in the area. So let's see what's going to happen. um I might go early here. Let's see. I'm just looking for someone. Actually, okay, I'll get to that later. Okay, so Apple Music, someone asked me, is there like a secret into properly streaming on Apple Music? Someone has been distributing this information online. EVX, thank you. Can you please give a hint of what you were going to talk about regarding the Seraphim future projects? Future projects, rumors. But my source is very good. He is so far been 100% correct in all this in all the leaks that he gave me. Most of them are heard by the Friday live streamers, because the audience in live stream, for obvious reasons. But he's been so far correct. Like, all, even the ones that I thought will never be possible, he's been correct. So, like that city-wide festival, I've told the subscribers, I don't know, like last year. He talked about it last year. I said it to, and he was right. But future projects, some exciting future projects. Okay, let me get to this because it's important. This has been distributed in Facebook and X, that Apple Music is, you for Apple Music, you just need to put two filler songs in between the songs that you're streaming. Absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. You have to be you have to put different number of fillers. So for example, you can do 3 fillers and then 7 and then 1 and then 5 and then 7 again, and then you cannot establish a pattern. The minute you establish a pattern, you will not be counted. You're going to be flagged a bot. So you do need to mix up the number of songs that you will put in between the songs that you are streaming. Not true that it just needs to be two. Absolutely not true. Also, you have to be unpredictable in your playlist. It can't be the same song over and over again. So I would always say create multiple number of playlists, at least 3, and then shuffle between them. If you can do 5, better, and then play from somebody else's playlist, like 3 more playlists. That way you have like variations in the type of things, the things that you actually stream. But you have to also not have a pattern. It can't be, for example, this album and then the solo songs of each member, and then you don't play anything else. You're going to get flagged as a bot. Okay, so stream like a human. Put other things in there. Put some Michael Jackson, put some Eminem, put some local artists that you know. Put Happy Birthday in there. Put J. Cole. Put like, be as unpredictable as possible. Drive the algorithm crazy. Okay, next. Take advantage of the free promo of the free month of different streaming platforms. Like Apple has 1 month, I think, sometimes some 3. Try Napster, they pay a lot. But if you can take advantage of the free months of another streaming platform. So if you have 2 phones or 2 different systems, just subscribe. You have your regular subscription, and then if you have another device, you can put your promo in that device. Then you're streaming from 2 different phones. Okay, and then switch it off. Sometimes don't stream 24 hours. You're definitely going to get flagged as a bot. So do switch it off sometimes. If you have 2, you can alternate. At some point you turn it off for 4 hours, the other for 8, whatever. But do turn it off. Okay. And it's also good when you are IP changes as well. So if you are traveling, if you're on your phone, your IP changes because the where you're getting your signal actually changes. So change your IP as well. That's good. Did you get your influencer visa? I'm processing. Let's see if they're going to approve me. Okay. And then don't mute the app completely. A lot of people are actually muting it. If you have an earphone, connect it, but don't mute it. And if you're streaming and you're away or whatever, just connect an earphone, an EP headpiece or something. So, but don't mute it completely. Also, don't create mass throwaway accounts. Don't use VPN. And also, don't do automatic playback, because that's going to, if you do VPN, definitely going to get flagged as a bot. The technical screening of Apple is actually way more strict than VPN. sorry, than Spotify. So do not ever use VPN. I know a lot of people want to help streaming them, getting them into Hot 100. So they use a VPN to change their IP to the US. Don't do that. You're going to get flagged a bot, then any of your streams won't count anymore in the future. And then engage beyond streaming. So make sure that you add songs every now and then, take out songs every now and then, save, change your playlist. Don't play one playlist for days and then play it again. Do some replays. Look at the, like, click some of the buttons, interact with Apple Music. In other words, look at the lyrics, look at the videos, just, and then sometimes don't play from your playlist, just do discovery for 30 minutes and then go back. So engage, in other words, with Apple Music. Okay. My next was supposed to be BTS, but I don't have time. So I will do that next time. But the new boss is actually the Big Machine Records. So the co-founder of Big Machine left Hybe, and they kept the assets within Hybe America. Um, but the guy that left is going to continue using Big Machine Records to reestablish his own label. And then they got the other co-founder to take over as the new CEO of Big Machine Records. However, that move is actually instrumental because that's going to establish the presence of Hybe America in the South, in the Midwest, basically in states that don't really get a lot of attention from mainstream. There are certain, like the major cities like New York, LA, Chicago, those are very much into hip hop, pop, but the bigger chunk of the US, Midwest, the South, you know what I'm talking about, it's a really huge chunk, but it is underutilized. His entry, him coming back to handle the new label, the one that's taking over Big Machine, is going to be very important. And then I'm going to be talking about him, what he would most likely be doing, and the things that we can expect on how that's going to affect BTS's radio play, most likely. This comeback and then the future ones when they do their individual activities and then their future comebacks as well. So, but that is the new boss. But he's more important than people give him credit for. This move of Hybe is actually it will give us an idea exactly on what they're trying to do. Okay. What's your news about LESSERAFIM? I guess I'll do that next time. I don't have time anymore. Oh, so someone actually, okay, so that's it for our live stream. I will be showing just the links for the listings of available tickets for BTS's concert. So for those that are not interested in that, thank you very much for staying. I'll talk about LESSERAFIM, the new boss of Hybe, and CORTIS next. I'll do that as the first topic so that I will definitely cover it next time. Um, are you still working on getting the tickets? Yes, I still have like several ones that are I haven't sent. Um, so yes, the question to that, the answer to that is yes. Okay, thank you. And then I'll, for those that are staying, if you want to see the tickets, available tickets, I'm going to be showing them now. Okay, thank you everybody. Tickets. You wanted the link, right? Wait list. Okay, here's the link. So that's the link for the wait list. For the songs, like for not the songs, but the tickets that are available, and then tickets that we are looking for, because there's a lot of people that are actually still looking for tickets. Sorry. Wait, I didn't ask for permission to actually print their name. I apologize. Let me just, okay. So these are the tickets that we still have if you are looking for them. Do you see what I'm seeing? Okay. So these are the tickets that we still have. I think my dog wants to say goodbye. Okay. So if you're still looking for tickets, oh, thank you. Thank you for posting regularly. I love dropping by and listening to you, especially BTS related stuff. Thank you, Mac. Thank you. So these are the tickets that we still have. If you have any available, just add it there. And then when it gets sold, or there's a new ticket, Stanford. Great. Foxborough. A lot of tickets actually have moved. Like they're gone. They've been bought. Yeah, Debak is here. So I want to buy, but I'm nervous. I don't know the person. Carla girl. You can course it through me. I will traffic it. So what happens is that you send me the money and then the other person sends me the ticket. And if the other person doesn't send the ticket, I don't send him your money. And, or if the person who's buying doesn't send the money, I don't send the ticket. So if you want me to do it that way, I can. I did that for two already. Um Deanna, you have been messaging about Arlington tickets. I think I messaged the owner, but the person has not responded to me. So if that person is actually here, can you respond to me, please? So this is the person that's looking for the Arlington tickets. Um, okay. So Deanna, yes, you messaged me on X, right? Okay, so those are the available tickets. I pasted the link, so if you want to look at it, go ahead and look at it. But these are all face value. As you can see, I did ask if they are willing to actually show there's the screenshot of their purchase, and they all said yes. And then these are the available. These are the tickets we're still looking for. We're looking for. A lot of people are still looking for tickets. So if you have an available tickets on any of this, let me know. Let us know because some people are actually willing to buy. So most of this, they're looking for 100, 200 level tickets. So let us know. Las Vegas, Tampa, London, LA, Stanford, Chicago, Toronto, Las Vegas. Any tickets for London? Yes. Tickets for London. Available tickets. It's gone. For now, no. When someone signs up, just keep on looking at the list. Sometimes it pops up. Um, Date mistake on Baltimore, it says May 10 and 11. Yes. Any ticket for SoFi? There's one, I think. There's one. 401, 165, two tickets. Do I DM you on Discord? Yes, just DM me on Discord. Anyone have 3 sound check tickets for Vegas any day? You can post on buying. Go to the link and then post what you need on the buying sheet so that when it becomes available, then they can get in touch with you. Okay. All right. So the link is there. I'll paste it again just in case you missed it. Um, and then just also go to our Discord. It'll be easier for you if you find the ticket that you want. You can just look for the name of the person and DM that person directly. But if you want me to traffic the exchange for you, let me know. That's the idea. A tourist attraction for armies as a hotel, bed and breakfast, wedding venue, or wine testing. You get 3-acre castle in France for the price of 3 bedrooms in the US. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for staying with me. Um, I'll see you for the paid members. I'll see you Friday. For the rest of you, I will see you Monday. Thank you, everyone. Bye.